Okay, in a previous video I showed you how to do results analysis on the desktop. Now I'll move on to the online system. So assuming that you are logged in to your online system, you simply go to Gradebook, and once you go to Gradebook, then you can scroll down to and this is assuming that you've built your results, right? So there are mainly two parts for now where you can do this sort of analysis. Of course, the basic things is, in fact, there are three places which I would like to show you. Okay, let me list them again. So I'll do this. Where is that document again? So now, what we're interested in is first how to analyze assessment results, and two, how to analyze final results, and three, how to analyze rankings. So these are the three main things. And I mean, when we talk about final results, some of the things will be like what we already discussed when we looked at analysis on the desktop. Alright, so now we are in this online system, we go to, let's say, we go to, first we start with assessment results. Yeah. So when you go to assessment results, for those of you that have already used this system, you notice that the first screen that you are presented with, of course, is where you see a list of the pupils in each class, and then you can see for each subject and which assessment and how much they got. Now again, you have a similar view here. So you have your same pivot table with the filter area there, then you have your columns here, and then you have the data area, which is this box here, and then you have the rows in this part here. So everything you want, which you want to be in the rows, so the rows are these things here. Everything you want to be in the rows area, you put it here. Everything you want to be in the columns area, starting from this point going right. Everything you want to be in the data area is this box here. Okay, and everything you want to be in the filter area will be there. Alright, so currently what we are analyzing is the assessment contribution, the raw score, and the assessment score. What does this mean? So when you're defining your assessments, let me show you this. If you go to assessment contributions, you specify how much each assessment is going to contribute towards the end of term, right? That's what you've been doing. So you say, okay, this is going to contribute 70%, that is going to contribute 30%, and so forth. And here, this is what we are looking at. So you have these different kinds of assessments and what they are contributing, what each one of them is contributing. So in this case, if you look at this additional mathematics, for example, so you have end term and then you have the mid term. So for the end term, the contribution is 70. So this 70, this as contribution, that's the assessment contribution. And raw score is what percentage did the pupil get in a particular test. So this was a percentage. It means this pupil got 34%. Alright, and then the assessment score is now calculated as 34% of that 70, which is this 23.8. Okay, so it does this for all the pupils. So again, for each pupil, you have 70. So I mean, for now, we can ignore all these. It's not important. But just look at these numbers here. So you have 70 there. You have 34, meaning this was a percentage in the test, and then this is the actual contribution. So when you're submitting this assessment, when you're submitting the result, this is what you input, these percentages, and then the system automatically calculates what the contribution is. And then the same thing for the midterm. So the midterm contributes 30 out of 100, and a pupil got 63, and this is 63% of 30, which is 18.9. And then Of course, um, the system now is going to tell you that, okay, the final score is going to be something else. And of course, there's another place where you can see the final scores. So you have that 23 and that 18.9. So the same thing goes again for the same thing goes. So actually here now you have the totals. So the total for the assessment contribution is 100, and then the raw score for this particular pupil was like 97, but of course it doesn't make sense. This actually should not even be considered because it doesn't make sense. But what you should look at as making sense is the assessment contribution, what is being summed here. Okay, because here it's just adding the percentages that the people got. Here they got 63 plus that 34, and that's the 97 you're getting, but it's not really like 97% of 100. No, that's not what it is. So it's basically adding 18.9 and 23.8. That's the 42.7 that you have there. And then the same thing is done for all these other pupils. Now, this is like one detailed view at least that shows you this. Now you might say, let me not view for all these subjects. You can see, for example, there's no business studies. So you can already begin to filter out some of these subjects that you see are empty. In fact, you can say, I want to view for, so you go to grade section and say, let me view only for, since last time we viewed for senior secondary, let's say now we want to view for junior. And by last time I mean on the desktop. So if you didn't see the one for the desktop, please have a look at that video. So now we have this is data for junior secondary, and we can scroll all the way to the right, and you can see there are more and more pages. So let's say we want to see up to 500 pages, and I can see home economics is blank. So already I can filter out and say I don't want to see home economics because it's just taking up space for nothing. So over here I can remove home economics and say okay. And then we can also say, so now we have all these. Then we can also say, well, we don't really want to see all these things like the raw score and the assessments and the contributions. We just want to see the assessment score, right? So we can pull the raw score and put it in the filter area like that. And then we can also drag the assessment contribution and put it in the filter area. So now we're only seeing the actual assessment score, okay, and the totals. So for end of term we can see 60.9, mid-term 25.8, and then you see the total there. So the same thing for all the other subjects that the pupil, this particular pupil wrote. And this is all results for this particular class, 8A. So if you wanted to view, say, well, I just want to view for 8A and 9A, so you can say, let me filter there and just pick 8A and 9A. And by the way, the results that will be shown here depend on, if you are an administrator, yes, you can see everything, but if you're a class teacher, you can only see for your class. You cannot see for other classes. You cannot see results for other classes. And if you're a subject teacher, for the assessments, you can only see for your particular subject. So if you teach, say, only business studies, then you can only see business studies. So this is basically the view here. I mean, you can do different things. So for now, we are looking at each particular pupil in details and what they got, and you can export this to Excel again. It seems Excel is our very good friend. We can do that. So you simply click export, and it will take all this data to Excel. If you want it to be an Excel and maybe you want to print it out somewhere. So let's just say we open this in Excel directly. So you can have this again. Come on, Excel. Yes, you can do it. Come on. Yes, there you are. And then we can do that, and yeah, so there we have all these scores and everything calculated. Yeah, so away from Excel, let's go back to here. So now let's say, okay, we don't really want to see all these pupils and everything. So let's remove, so we put that in the filter area. And now we just have we just have this sum, sum of everything, which is really not interesting to analyze. And we can go to field list. So again we have this the weight, and we also have I think we do have the grade name somewhere. Yes, the grade name is actually here. So we do have the grade name, and just for the assessments alone, I think you can also do so this time remember that when you want to count how many pupils got a particular grade in an assessment, you do that by using the count, not the scores. Okay, so remember we do have a pupil count there, so put the pupil count there and then remove the assessment score, put it there. So now we are looking at the counts, like, okay, how many, so this is basically telling you that in 8A you had 44 who wrote business studies, 44 who wrote midterm as well, and so forth. These are the actual numbers of those who wrote. But this is not what we want. What we want is how many got a particular grade. Okay, so then we bring in the grade name just next to class name, like this. So you can see how many got 1s, 2, 3, 4, and F. And these are the particular numbers that you have. So in end of term you had 15 who got 1s, 8 got in midterm got 8 got 1s. In end of term 14 got 2, midterm there were 20, and so forth. So this analysis goes and then gives you the totals for each subject. So you can see business studies total 1s were 23, 34 2s, 21 3s, and 5, and so forth. Yeah, but these totals of course might not make sense because you're looking at totals of two different assessments, end term and midterm. So if you want to really look at the totals, better you do that when you're analyzing the final score, not these assessment scores. But at least just to give you an idea that you can actually do this. So it shows you for each different kind of assessment you can see these things. Okay, and if you have multiple assessments like week 1 test, week 2 test, or whatever, you can still do the same. It shows you how many got so here we have the grade names there. But if we wanted, for instance, to say let's only analyze for end term, or if in fact let's say midterm only, if we just say midterm only, then you can see that midterm there were only 8 who got 1s, and so forth. Yeah, so you can do it that way. Or if you want, you can bring the subjects this side and then take the scores there. So this is flexible, it's not so rigid. So you can take this there and then have something like that. So again, what did I do? Okay, so now you basically have the subjects and everything all together. So you have business studies midterm 1 2 3 4 F, and then you have that, and then this total that you're seeing is the total of those who wrote. Okay, isn't this cool? Let's see. So you can come up with something like this. How long would it take you to do this in Excel? Well, 1,000 years probably. Yeah, but there you have it. So you can have something like this, and down here of course you can produce some graphs depending on what you want, but this may not be very interesting unless you really do filter your data to say, okay, maybe let me only look at my class 8A, and let's see maybe graphs of those who got a particular kind of grade. So you can still do that even for assessments. Okay, and just to show you that we probably need to move so we know that we are looking at midterm. We can remove so we can put the grade names back this side, and then we can do a bar chart. Just refresh the chart. If you click refresh chart, then it generates a chart. So you can see blue is 8A and red is 9A, and then you can see there. So it may not be very nice because of all these different combinations. So what this shows you is midterm 1 for business studies midterm 2. So each subject plus the grades 1 all the way up to F, and then it shows comparisons. Okay, so you can see that the grade 9s, which are the reds, here they got more 1s, but for the 2s, the grade 8s got more 2s, and so forth. So this is basically what you're doing. And again, you can do the same thing by you can change the in fact, what would be interesting is to try, if you put a pie chart, what would happen here, maybe to produce multiple pie charts. Okay, but like I said, you can experiment. So you can see there's your chart with all these different colors. Then you can say show chart labels. Yeah, then it shows you all this, but of course the legend is missing because there's no space, so you can filter in some way. You can filter and say let's only show, maybe instead of we can reduce some of this information. We know that we are looking at midterm, so there's no need to put assessment name there. We can leave that, and we can also put the grade names this side like that. Alright, and then we refresh that again. What happened to this thing? Here. But every time I click refresh chart, it takes it back, I guess. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. So now you're looking at each particular class and then the set of subjects, so you can see which subject the pupils did better. Okay. So there you have. So this is a list of all ones. This is 8A, all ones, 8A, all twos, 8A, all threes. And then you can see in which subject, for example, there were more threes, in which subject there were more twos, in which subject there were more ones. And you can change, instead of viewing pie chart, you can use a stacked bar if you want. A stacked bar is going to stack these, so then you can see which one, they got more. Which one has got, which one has a larger bar chart. So you can see like the red there, that's twos. So in business studies there were more twos than other grades. And then we can also use say spline. Spline sometimes is better. Spline is a soft line. Well, I don't know if that's what it means, but yeah. Yes, so there you have something like that. If it's too cluttered with this, I mean, like I said, you can filter, remove one of the grades so that you only see maybe only one, and then you have something more sensible to look at. For example, I can remove grade 9s. I only want to and then I do that. Okay, so you have something like, so this is just 8A, and you can see that there were more twos, just like we've seen with the other charts. So there are more twos here in all these subjects. So business studies has the highest number of ones. Okay, it has oh sorry, not the highest number of ones, because the ones is this line here. So there were more ones in French when it came to yeah, so there are more. So ones is that line there. And if you're getting confused by this, you can change, put this there, and then put the grade names in the columns, and then you refresh your chart. Now what has happened? Grade name, subject is supposed to be here in the rows. Yes, so we have something like this. Yeah, okay, so I think let's move on to the final scores. Now the idea is the same. the same analysis, so I'm not going to really go into details. The only difference now is that you're not looking at specific assessments, but you're looking at only the final score, meaning the aggregated results at the end of the term. This is what you have here, and you can see that there's no more assessment name, and of course if you click there you're not going to see anything. Okay, so just ignore this. You can do the same thing like we did on the desktop, where you can say, well, let's put the pupils there. We just have the subjects, and instead of analyzing the scores, we want to analyze how many pupils got particular grades, and this might be what you're actually interested in. You can analyze these results over the years, so you have different terms and then you can compare. Okay, so for now you have this, you can see each subject there, and you can see who got what in each subject. So if we say for this final grade name, let's remove the blanks, then we have that. Our data is a bit cleaner. And then you can also even group by section if you want. If you right click somewhere here and then show field list, bring in the grade section and put it there, so it will show you under junior secondary and the senior. Okay, or if you want, you can expand this, say, to maybe 100 pages, and let's put the section on the left so that we group these things differently, like that. So you have junior there and then you have senior here. Yeah, like that. So you can start the juniors, of course, only have 1 to 4 and then F. And at least, yes, there never fails to be an F. Soldiers saluting, they're always there. Yeah, so it's the same thing that we did. You can again try to generate some graphs and see, okay, how many passed, how many failed, and all these things. And like I showed you on the desktop in the other video, even here you can say, well, I'm interested in analyzing the failures. Okay, I'm interested in analyzing the failures. So let's say we just want to analyze the seniors for now. We want to analyze the seniors, and we are interested in analyzing which subjects were failed. So we remove, in fact we just say remove everything and only select that. By the way, with this school they specified that the grade for failure is not a 9 but an F, in case you're wondering why even for senior showing F. Yeah, so you can see that these are the subjects that were failed, and then it shows you how many failed in each of these subjects, and you can generate a graph of this. Okay, if you refresh your chart, you should be able to see that there were more failures in history. Now, since we know we're only analyzing senior secondary, so we can remove grade section there just to make sure that our chart isn't cluttered. And then we can even put chart labels there so that we see the numbers properly, like that. So you see that there are more failures in history, 24, and there are more in biology and more in additional mathematics. So these are the subjects that people failed the most. Alright, and again, like I said last time, if you are interested now in knowing which particular classes actually failed these subjects, so you can then filter and say, excuse me, this didn't finish. Excuse me. So if you're interested in knowing which so if we filter here and say so if we add a filter here, so if I right click and say show pre-filter, and I say where the pupil count Would that be included here? No, it's not included. Okay, it means I cannot do that here, but that's fine. I can still filter by subjects only, so I can show ADMA. Yeah, I can show ADMA and history and mathematics. There's even confusion here, mathematics and mathematics. Physical science is here, physics, religious education. Let me just show this for now. And if I say I want to see which particular, how is this shared across the classes, so I remove this term 1 like that, I put it in the filter area, then this would show me which classes exactly are getting a larger share of these failures. Okay, so you can see, for instance, that 11B here has got more failures than all the others in each of these subjects. And then, of course, 12A and 12B, you know, there are more failures in these subjects. And I think we can still generate a chart from this. Yeah, so there again you can see these are all Fs. Remember, we're only analyzing the Fs, the failures. So in 12B you can see that the highest failed was physical science. Now if we switch these and say, let's take the, so we know it's only Fs, so let's put F now in the filter because we know it's F that we're analyzing. Let's put the classes here and let's put the subjects there, so that we do it the other way around, and then we refresh the chart. Okay, so now what we have, we are looking at each subject, which class failed the most. So this is what you need to understand. By switching these, you are changing the view of your data. So first we're analyzing for each class which subject was worst performed or was failed the most. That was the first view we had. So we're looking down here, there were the classes, and then the legend were the subjects. So that means for each class you want to know which subject the pupils failed more. But now we are looking at each subject, which class had more failures. That's the difference with these views. So you can see here, like physical science has the highest of failures, and this is coming from this purple one, which is 11B. Okay, and then physics also has like the second highest of failures, and the culprit class here is 12A. So 12A is failing more physics. You see that? Then mathematics, again 11B is problematic. So you can see in most of these 11B is dominating. 11B, 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 failed religious education. You see, there are some classes like 10A where in only additional mathematics and physics, that's where you had failures. So this is some analysis that you can do, and this is the goodness with this, is that this is online. You can even do it while everybody is watching, and or anybody can log in who's authorized, and they can do this, so they don't need to go to your desktop to visualize. So the same things that you have on your desktop, you can also do the analysis here online. And while this may seem to be so difficult in the beginning, it's actually very easy, because all you need to know is how do you just move things around. Or let me pull this and put it in the filter area, or let me filter, I want to see only this, or now let me refresh the chart. You see, it's that easy. And for the chart, then you can right click somewhere here in the empty space, and then just save this image somewhere on your desktop. Okay, you can save this as a PNG. Let's say I save it on my desktop, I save it there, yeah, and then I should be able to find it. So if I go to the desktop, this is the one here. I can double click on it, and there I have my chart of the failures. So then you can get this, maybe put it in a PowerPoint or wherever you want to present it to, then you can show them. So this is the same chart that I was viewing online. It's very easy. You didn't need to go and study rocket science in order to generate this graph. Right, so the last part that I'm going to show you now is some simple statistics, especially for class teachers, when you want to know in your class specifically who's doing badly. In fact, You can even do it from here also. Okay, so when you have all these when you have all these failures, you can still check which particular pupils, for instance, maybe had, who did badly in certain subjects. But we can leave that for now. You can do it later. So the last part that we're going to look at, remember there were 3 things that I said we're going to look at. So we've looked at how to analyze assessment results. That's where we spent much of the time. How to analyze final results. This is very similar to what we did on the desktop. And then now we look at how to analyze rankings. So when you go to the online system, you have this part here that says class teacher comments. It's not just about comments, and it's not just about class teachers. So if you click class teacher comments, you select your class. So let's say maybe we want to look at that 11B, which we know that pupils were failing the most. We pick the year, and then we pick the term 1, and then click view. What this is going to do is it's going to show us a list of pupils here. Okay, it's going to show us a list of pupils, and then it's going to show us for each pupil the points they got in the best 6 subjects, how many subjects they recorded, how many subjects they passed, which subjects they failed, what was the highest score of this pupil, what was the lowest score, what was the average score of this particular pupil, how many pupils are in the class, and what is the position of this pupil in class. Alright, and then you as a class teacher, of course, if you want to add a comment, then you can say you can say, oh, my dear friend study hard in biology, physics, whatever, and science, physics, or else you get soldiers saluting in the final. So, by the way, soldiers saluting means 9s. And then the house teacher, of course, can also put their own comment, and then can put attendance there, 50 out of 60. So you can do this all online. So every teacher can log in online, and they can start putting all these comments. There's no need like for one person to just log in and start putting everything for everyone. Yeah, but what will be interesting here is you can see all this summary information. Like for each people, you can see their points, and you can see who failed what. Okay, and there's even a summary of what each people failed. So you can see this one didn't fail anything, but that one, then you can sort by this column, overall position in class. Just click on it, click on the header, and it sorts all these pupils according to the points that they got. So you can see here that now you have positions like 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way up to the last person in the class. And then for each one, of course, you can see the points in the best 6. Okay, you can see the points in the best 6, and then which subjects that each of these failed. And you can continue to scroll down. You can continue to scroll down, and it shows all these positions there. So again, if you look at this, you can see over here you have all these different positions up to the last pupil. The last pupil should be number 43, and for sure the last one in the class, the black sheep, will be 43. Then you can ask, Baba, black sheep, have you any wool? So this is basically it. Mostly for analysis, and when reporting to administrators, obviously you're going to look at this final results analysis or assessment results analysis. And this one is mainly for the class teachers to see which pupils need more help, and in which subjects specifically do they need more help. Okay, and if you want to look at the bigger picture of these subjects that have been failed, of course here you can even get an idea. You can see history. So the pupils are failing history, they're failing maths, or failing RE. I fail to understand how they fail RE when people go to church. They're so religious in some people. But that's a thing. So you can use this final results analysis and to dig deeper into, okay, which subjects are failing, and then you can follow up with the teachers now and say, okay, but what's the problem, you teacher? How come that pupils are failing your subject? Is it that they're not studying enough? Is it that maybe they don't understand your way of teaching? Is it that maybe your assessment methods are not correct? You don't ask the right questions, or maybe pupils don't understand what you write, or whatever. So those are things that you can look at. Yeah, and there'll be more analysis that will be added later on. But for now, you can work with this, and they should make your life easy. Thank you.